Mr. Nahata mentioned, at one point of time there was 36% the going rate. In some places, in a desperation, sorry to say, it even goes up to 54%. A lot of you don't know that there are people that actually lend you at 54, and we usually call them the last in and the first out. There is a language to this. There is a whole system in it, but the most important part is to reach out to sources that don't charge you for the cost of capital. And that's where the government organizations like NFDC, which supported many amazing stories of filmmakers and producers, come into place. And like all of you, me also started with borrowing at big percentages, but over a period of time, especially the Chennai story, with hopefully the blessing of Ritul sir, we'll be able to put together a film which is going to be risk-free 50%, which is huge for a producer. And that allows us to take the stories of India to the world.
Fantastic, phenomenal. Pritulji, since she mentioned NFDC is also funding films, how does NF
process of evaluation is very elaborate and laid down, because it's a government production, so it's taxpayers' money which we are utilizing as part of the government to fund these projects. NFDC had been producing I think about 15 years back, the number of films which NFDC was producing were very high. But now for the last 10 years, it has been generally lower because the financing has been coming through other sources and the industries have been growing. They did not require so much of assistance from the government. But then we now realize again, because the requirement of content is much more, from cinema exhibition to OTTs. So the government is again stepping in, and the finances are getting increased. And that increase is not just twofold or threefold. It's like, I think from last year to this year, we're doing tenfold increase. And we're looking at other countries also which spend so much more public financing is done from films. The government doesn't give you money as part of financing to be getting it back. So it's like giving for the film. So it's a grant. But as Tati ji was mentioning, that government has also started something called incentives. Not just the central government, but the state governments. They give incentives to filmmakers for filming in their state, or the foreign filmmakers to come in India. So that is quite a handsome amount. So if it is going to be 30%, so you can think that, actually they're financing 30% of your film, and it's not going to be charged at anything. There are some laid down norms which are seen by the government that, at least if you're shooting in Madhya Pradesh or if you're shooting somewhere, so you show something good about that particular thing, which can be easily inbuilt in the story. So it's good that, filmmakers should have understanding of government policies, of how they are granting incentives, of like NFDC, what kind of projects it is pitching. So as you asked, the NFDC, the process is laid down and it starts from the script itself. So we take scripts as the input and then evaluate it through independent script evaluators, and that's how the process starts. It's quite an elaborate process. So I think these two things should be kept in mind from the government's perspective.
Sharik Bhai, it's quite simple for established producers who make big star cast films to get funding. What about a rank newcomer, a producer, or a rank new director? He's on the threshold of starting his first film. A lot of them don't even understand how to approach this problem of funding. How do they hunt for finance? Whom do they approach? What doors do they knock? Do they even stand a chance of getting a hearing?
Yes, they do. But yeah, it's an extremely difficult road. I'm assuming a lot of you all over here are producers or directors. It is, at the end of the day, it's a commercial medium. It's commercial art, right? It's not fine art. It needs, for anyone's vision to get translated into screen, there are, on any set, big, small, whatever, there are 50 to 200 to 300 people working on it. So there's a certain cost which is attached, and hence it's very important. Unfortunately, there isn't a very structured way of doing this.
Exactly.
So I mean, for the entire art house movement, thanks to NFDC, being there in the 70s, 80s, a lot of gems came out then. the corporatization and what